have this whole thing pulled up about celebrity, musician, artist houses. I'd never been to Graceland, and that's kind of where this started. You have.
Dude, you would love it.
I know. And it's reopened again with Corona, because I could easily drive over there.
3 hours away.
And we drove to there. We were going, Caitlin and I went to Arkansas. We drove right by there, but it wasn't open yet. And so I started thinking about all these famous places that artists have lived. So I have a list of them, but we'll start with Graceland. Graceland.
Yeah, how do you say that? Graceland?
Graceland.
Graceland.
Right.
That's how I've always said it.
So Elvis Presley's iconic mansion is second only to the White House as the most visited home in America.
Wow.
It's an emblem to the king's celebrity. What's this place like inside?
Okay, so the first initial reaction when you walk up, you're like, this place is not big at all. Like the house itself is not very big. It's not. I think maybe at that time in the 70s or whatever, it was huge. But it's not that big. And inside, they kept it exactly how Elvis had it, which is like shaggy carpet. The kitchen, you would look at it and be like, oh my gosh, this looks like a house straight from the 70s because that's what it is. But it's cool, man.
What about the jungle room?
It's small. I'm telling you, dude, every room that you maybe even Googled and seen pictures of, it's tiny. The jungle room is small, maybe 3 pieces of furniture in there, but it is very shagged out.
So it says Graceland is 17,000 square feet, has 23 rooms, including 8 bedrooms and bathrooms. How is that small?
Because you can't go upstairs. You can't. I mean, you walk in, and then I think what makes it bigger than it looks is there's a basement or like a lower level that you can see. But overall, you think Elvis, the king of rock and roll, he would have a huge, huge house. It's not that big.
But again, there are all these rooms you can't go to that he got to live in.
Upstairs.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So it's still big then. 17,000 square feet?
Maybe,
23 rooms?
Maybe they're talking about the racket court and everything on the side too, but my recollection of it was like, wow, this is a lot smaller than I thought.
And I would like it?
You would love it because not only is it the house, every room too has a little story to it. Like you go into like the living area and the stairs are right there.
He had a whole chocolate pie over here, babe.
They would say stuff like that, like a Priscilla, there would be like a voice of Priscilla playing and saying, I just remember, like we'd had friends come in town and I would tell them like, hey, Elvis, the friends are downstairs. Time to come down now. And you'd want to be upstairs and not hang out with anyone. But then you would slowly hear the jewels start rattling. And here he comes slowly down the stairs with all his jewels.
George Strait's San Antonio estate is for sale right now for $8.9 million. The 8,000 square foot custom Adobe mansion is on a hilltop, sits on 12 acres of land. After some price adjustments, you can now get it for right below $9 million. A guest house, an infinity pool spa, sauna, 14 hand-sculpted fireplaces, custom stained glass windows. Not surprisingly, it took 2 years to construct.
It's funny, when you live in a town where a celebrity lives in, everyone knows where that house is, apparently. But like, I don't know where that is. But my parents would always just say, because my parents live in San Antonio, and they're always like, oh yeah, George Strait's house is right up there.
But was it?
I don't know. I never knew where it was.
When I grew up in Arkansas, everyone said, Tom Petty's got a house, Hot Springs Village. I don't even think he ever did.
That's funny. The people love to make crap up like that. Like, oh yeah, the house is right down that road.
Johnny Cash's childhood home. You ever been there?
No.
The Dias Colony in Arkansas was a 1930s New Deal initiative to help poor families after the Great Depression. So his family was some of the ones who benefited from that. And you can go. It's small. It's one-story farmstead, but I have a lot of friends in Arkansas. They don't go because it's a tourist thing to do.
Yeah.
But they're like, Johnny Cash's, when they first moved, because they were in southeast Arkansas, I believe, and then moved to where they are now. But it's just go see it. It's like Thomas Jefferson's place in Philadelphia. It's tiny.
Yeah.
It's like Thomas Jefferson lived here, and it's like one room.
Now, I've been to the Nashville Johnny and June house, which is not really there anymore. It's still.
It was for sale recently again.
Was it really? Like how recent? Like a year?
Maybe.
Okay, so when I went, it's in Hendersonville, which is probably about 45 minutes from here or 30 minutes from here. And I guess what happened was after Johnny died and June died, is it Gibbs? Who's the BG guy?
Barry Gibb.
Barry Gibb bought it. And then while he owned it, there was some electrical problem or whatever in the house, and the house burned to the ground. And it never got fixed. They left it. like that. So you can go drive by today, and the house is still there, but I mean, it's burnt, and
Really?
half walls are up. There's maybe a swimming pool, a slide by the swimming pool left.
Hey, Mike, will you see what's up with that Johnny Cash house?
I know Johnny Knoxville owned it at one point.
Interesting.
He sold it after that. I remember that.
Is it still up for sale? I feel like someone that I was talking to was just looking at it or just bought it.
Really? It's crazy, dude. The access you have to it, it's not like Graceland. In Graceland, the house is far from the road. You can see it, but it's far. This house, you can literally drive right next to it, and there's Johnny's house.
Oh, you could drive right up?
Right by the lake.
I was with a driver, because when I do some of these TV shows, I think the CMA Awards last November, a driver picked me up. And so that, because they want to make sure it's not as much fancy as it is, they need to make sure you're going to get there on time. Mm-hmm. So they will send a driver to get you.
Oh, gotcha.
And to make sure you're in the right spot, because you have a time you have to be on stage. And if you're not there, they're screwed. Mm-hmm. And so the driver picked me up and he goes, "Hey man, I listen to the show a lot." He goes, "Man, this is crazy." He said, he's talking about where I live now. And he goes, "Minnie Pearl used to live right over here." And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "And you know what? I used to drive the tours. And we would go to all these celebrities' houses." He goes, "Nowadays, we can never get away with that because people don't want you driving by and showing people where their houses because they get robbed."
Yeah, I know. It's different back then. I think I read it. Well, in that country music documentary, they were talking about Pierce Webb.
And pool.
And how he had his guitar-shaped pool, and he would have buses go by, and he would sell jars of the pool water for $1 to all the tourists. You can't do that today. Can you imagine if Keith Urban did that?
Hey, Mike, what'd you find about Johnny Cash house?
It looks like it burned down in 2007, not all the way, and then it was for sale last year.
Okay.
Okay, so someone
How
bought
much
it.
was it for sale for?
$4 million.
Wow.
I thought I saw it up for sale. And did someone buy it?
I don't see that anyone bought it. It's still listed.
Wow. You want to go halves?
No.
No, not really.
I mean, is part of the appeal of that house there was Johnny Cash's for the $4 million, or you actually get a pretty good spot out there?
100% that it's Johnny's house. Because right across the street is, old Farmer Bill with his tractor still in front and a car on bricks.
Really?
Yeah, it's not.
But for $4 million?
It's not a great neighborhood, man. It's crazy. There's even like maybe a little cemetery next to it. It's not. It's just a road with 6 or 7 houses on it, and it's just by the lake. It is waterfront. That's about it.
Number 56 Hope Road. Does that address say anything to you?
Is it Bill Clinton?
No, Bob Marley.
Nice.
Number 56 Hope Road was bought by reggae superstar Bob Marley in 1975, as well as housing the Tough Gong Studios. The 19th century colonial property in Kingston was the site of the attempt on Marley's life in 1976.
Wow.
It's now Bob Marley Museum.
Wow, that's
So
cool.
you can go up to that home where he used to live and check it out. They don't act like it's super fancy or anything.
Yeah, well,
but
the area is not very fancy. Even Kingston, Jamaica is it's
that's what that is.
still dangerous.
Have you been
yeah.
to Jamaica?
No, never. But I read a lot about it.
Tom Petty's mansion was just purchased by Selena Gomez. What if it's one in Hot Springs Village? No?
It was not.
Now Selena lives in Hot Springs Village.
Selena Gomez has purchased the Encino, California mansion previously owned by Tom Petty. The home was sold last month for $4.9 million.
Wow.
At the time of the sale, the buyer's identity remained a mystery. Now it appears that Selena Gomez is going to be moving in. The spacious 3-story home features 6 bedrooms, 8 full bathrooms, 2.5 baths. Its many highlights include a recording studio, stone fireplace, yoga studio, spiral staircase, game room, wine cellar, gym, massage room.
Gosh.
Outdoor amenities include a cabana. How you say it? Cabana?
Yeah, Cabana.
Outdoor bar, a fire pit, multiple decks, pool spa, cascading waterfall.
God.
Tom Petty had the house custom built after an arsonist destroyed his previous home at the exact same site. Wow. This song, I Won't Back Down, is about the person burning that first house down.
Really?
The traumatic experience would inspire his 1989 hit, I Won't Back Down. The iconic singer lived in his first home with his wife, Jane, until their divorce. He then moved. They rebuilt on the same property. Crazy. I didn't know that about that song. You can burn my house down, Selena will buy it, and we won't back down.
Does he say something about burning? No, he doesn't.
Are you looking up the lyrics?
Yeah, I was. I thought I remembered that, but no.
Kurt Cobain and Courtney Love's former home on sale for $7.5 million.
Is this where he...
I think so, and I think that would be like a really historic site.
Yes.
The former Seattle home of Kurt and Courtney have been put up for sale by the most recent owners for $7.5 million. Quote, a perfectly maintained home of extraordinary presence situated upon a beautiful park-like lot in the heart of Denny Blaine. Built in 1902, you can see exterior shots of the house. The interior shots are not made available. 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, a wine cellar. They lived there only briefly after purchasing it in early 94. In the same year, he died by suicide in the greenhouse. Love had the greenhouse demolished before selling the home in 1997.
Okay. So that site's not there.
I was watching Man on the Moon, and Courtney Love is in Man on the Moon.
Does a great job in that movie.
So Courtney Love, so that movie's about Andy Kaufman, but Courtney Love plays Andy Kaufman's wife. But Courtney Love was lead singer Hole, who was married to Kurt Cobain when he killed himself. So we're connecting all these dots back. But Caitlin was like, I don't know who Courtney Love is. She's 28. And I was like, well, she was married to Kurt Cobain. She was like, huh? I was like, Nirvana. But Caitlin was born in 93.
Wow. When did he die? 94?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's crazy.
So when I was,
Huge part of our life. And
I'm 12 years older than her. But I mean, I was about to be a teenager when this crap happened. Maybe I was right as a teenager. But for her, she was like, I don't even know who Courtney Love is.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, and if you think about it, I guess after his death, she did do a few things, but I mean, she wasn't that famous where people would just remember.
She was the most famous for being Kurt Cobain's wife.
Correct.
But she was also in
Hole.
The band Hole.
Yeah.
But I'm saying she also was in the movie about the guy who did Hustler, Larry Flint, The People vs. Larry Flint.
Oh,
she was
right.
great in that. Woody Harrelson played Larry Flint. Did you ever watch that? Great movie, and she was great in it.
Is that People America versus or
The People versus Larry Flint.
Yeah, okay.
Or America versus whatever it is. Yeah, that's a really good movie. Jay-Z and Beyonce, they have a house that's worth $88 million.
They still live there.
With an original asking price of $135 million, Jay-Z and Beyonce got this 2-acre Bel Air compound for a deal, $88 million. The property is 6 separate structures, including a 30,000 square foot main house, a gaming entertainment building, a 15-car garage. That 15-car garage is crazy.
I think the 4-car garages are nuts. Can you imagine 15 cars?
15 car. Oh, Michael Jordan's house. Is it up here? It's not on this. They can't sell it. He's trying to sell it. And the price has been all kind. I think now it's at $23 million.
Gosh.
And it was way, way, way more expensive than that. Who knows? They may have dropped it. It was at $23 million for a while. He's 23. But he has like.
Oh, was that coincidence or?
I think they marked on purpose.
They're like, and great, and we'll make a lot of money from it too.
Mike, what are you seeing about Michael Jordan's house?
I see 14.9 million.
So they've dropped it since then.
They're like, guys, the 23 is not going to work. I know it's nice and clever, but
he has it. Can you see how many garages? Because I remember hearing that car garage, and I was like, who would have that many cars?
It's 56,000 square feet.
And how many car garages?
Let me see.
well, in the documentary, I don't think you see him driving the same car twice. You know, in the recent Michael Jordan documentary, they show him driving a lot, and
Yeah.
it's from like.
I wouldn't want to have to choose all the time.
Yeah, I feel like he liked choosing.
It's like Netflix. There are a ton of good shows on, but I'll just go scroll through all the fronts and never look at anything because there's so many options.
So if you can buy any car, do you think these people, like, you know, obviously they have the real nice ones, but do you think they ever want to just get a regular one just to feel regular sometimes? Like, I'm going to go with a Toyota Camry today.
No.
Just never, just to feel regular.
Probably not. Probably spent enough time in like a Toyota Camry.
Okay, their whole life.
What do you see, Mike?
It has 9 bedrooms, 15 full baths, and a 14-car garage.
So
14.
Gosh. And that's not, and you think you park some in the driveway too.
Yeah, I'm sure not all of them fit in the garage.
This Jay-Z and Beyonce house for $88 million has a smart house. It has a helipad, bulletproof windows, in-house spa, fitness center, a custom staircase,
Oh my God.
40 feet ceilings, and sliding glass walls that can completely recede to open the interior up to a huge patio and lawn.
I want to hate on these people having these houses, but God, how awesome would it be to have a house like that?
Yeah.
I feel like that's exactly what I would want. What I've always thought too, like if I could have any house, I would like to put a par 3 golf hole in it.
A hole.
Yeah, just in the backyard, like a nice hole, and just play golf out there. That same hole every day. And maybe even at night, put some lights on it, have a light coming out of the hole so my friends can come over and we can play like competition hole in one.
That green would be so expensive.
Just the
If
green.
you were maintaining the green. Having worked on a golf course for a while, that's really
Yeah.
expensive. Kanye West and Kim Kardashian, they reportedly purchased this house for $20 million, but now it's worth $60 million. The 3-story, 5-bedroom house covers 5,000 square feet. They worked it's all fancy, but they have a $60 million house.
Hey, Bones, would you rather have these houses remain private? Like, especially some of these, the dead celebrities like Tom Petty and Johnny Cash, Elvis, all that, or would you rather have them all turn into like museums so we can all see it? Or is it cool to just know the kind of house they had, but then somebody can buy it?
I'm a big free market guy, big capitalist. Don't care. Don't have a problem with it either way.
Yeah.
I think it's cool to see it, but and if someone wants to preserve it, can make some money. You know, if someone wants to buy, let's say, God forbid, Kim and Kanye died in a plane crash,
Right.
and they're like, we're gonna keep it just as it is. We're gonna buy it as it is, and we're gonna charge people to come look at it. Think you can make some money off of it? Great. You want to change it yourself? I don't really have a preference. I don't think we owe the artist to keep their house the way it was.
Yeah.
What is your preference?
I do like the museum, obviously, for selfish reasons. We can see it.
But again, that's for money. Like, they're not building a museum for charity.
Correct. But at the same time, if money wasn't an issue and I had all the money in the world, I would love to buy their house.
Would you gut it and do a new one, or just live in it like they did?
I would keep it the exact way they kept it. Like a while back, somebody came in the studio. I think it was Thompson Square, and they were talking about doing a music video in Patsy Cline's house. Do you remember this? Mm-hmm. Like, and they were saying that
there's definitely history and a cool feeling about that.
It's cool because they left the house exactly how Patsy left it, and that's cool.
Well, it's also cool to go play the Ryman, because
they've left it the way.
Well, you're just on a stage that a lot of folks have been on.
Yeah.
That you're like, wow, there's been some really great people standing in the same spot that I've stood.
Yeah, but if you look at pictures of Johnny playing the Ryman or any of these old country legends, it looks the exact same. They have that picture of their backs, and you get to see the audience. It's the same as if we went over there today, and they kept it the same. If it looked completely different, I don't think we'd feel the same way.
Probably a little bit though, because you're like, we're in the same spot on Earth.
Yeah. My foot's touching where his foot touched.
Just like, on the Earth, this building stood here. We're in the same spot that they played. You just the air, the aura. The Grand Ole Opry, it's a different building. They built Opryland out in the 70s.
Yeah.
But they cut that square out, and it's the same square that the artist stands on.
Circle.
Sorry, circle. I'm not circle. I'm only there every week.
Right. Yeah, you're probably standing on the circle.
Yeah, square. The Ryman stage feels like a square.
Yeah,
but
I remember talking to Wade Boggs. Remember when we met Wade Boggs, played that thing, and I was telling him about the Opry Circle, and it's a funny story. He said, "Man, that's exactly what I wanted them to do at Yankee Stadium with the old home plate. It's like, why can't we take a piece of that dirt where that home plate is and then move it to the new stadium?" And he said eventually they did.
Yeah, they've done that in a few places too.
Is that so nerdy of us that
no, I don't think so.
We want to stand in that same place?
Baseball is a very traditionalist sport. I think maybe, Mike, you may fact check this. In Cleveland or maybe St. Louis, they did home plate in the same place, and they just moved it because they had to rebuild the stadium. They just rebuilt the stadium in a different direction.
That is very cool to me. That you want to keep it the same. Just a little piece of it, keep it the same.
Yeah, I apologize for calling the Opry a square. I'm an idiot. I'm tired. Eddie.
You are tired. It's okay, man. It's okay. I wouldn't have let you keep going with that.
I'm ashamed of myself. Mike, what do you see? Do you see anything about that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I probably made it up. All right.
I did see that Johnny Cash's house was bought.
Really?
For $3.2.
Dang. Sorry,
Say by
Bones.
who?
Some local hedge fund owner and his wife.
Eddie, tell everybody about the podcast you're on.
Sore Losers Podcast. It's a guys guy podcast. Definitely have the guys guy dude on it. Raymundo, Lunchbox, and me. We talk mostly sports, but we're just three friends, and we do live really different lives. So it's fun to kind of have us all together and tell our stories and talk about what we do every day.
All right, there you go. Thank you guys. Check out Sore Losers. Thanks for hanging with us here. Are we ending the podcast here, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, there you go. That's a wrap. Goodbye. Hey guys, it's Bobby Bones. Welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and then go check it out. A lot of artists, a lot of songwriters, a lot of music. Welcome to the Bobbycast channel.